Here in Baltimore, Maryland, it's overcast and windy. And the poor old Baltimore Orioles manager Earl Weaver is down to his last 20-game winner, Mike Cuellar. The Pittsburgh Pirates are going with a pitcher they think has been their best the last 2 months of the season, a right-hander, Steve Blass. And so the two teams who started spring training last February are now down to their final game in a one-game World Series. NBC Sports, a service of NBC News, presents the seventh game of the 1971 World Series. The National League champions, the Pittsburgh Pirates, versus the American League champions, the Baltimore Orioles. Brought to you by Chrysler Corporation, Extra Care and Engineering. Your host today, your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer. By Right Guard Antiperspirant, the one that's super dry. And by Phillips 66. The Performance Company. At Phillips 66, it's performance that counts. Hi, everybody. Kurt Gowdy of the NBC Sports Department. Chuck Thompson, the telecaster and broadcaster of the Baltimore Orioles, and Tony Kubek of NBC roaming the stands for you. The two starters are already warming up. Once again, it's going to be Cuellar against Blass. We'll talk a little bit more about them. And we've had a late lineup change. It could be meaningful in this game. The Pirates have just moved Willie Stargell out of the cleanup position and dropped him to number 6. They have elevated Bob Robertson, their first baseman, into the cleanup spot, and they put Manny Sanguillen in the number 5 spot catching. Yesterday, and we've talked to a lot of writers, broadcasters, baseball people who have followed the World Series for years, and they all agree one of the most dramatic World Series games they've ever seen. There were plots and subplots, a real thriller, that 10-inning victory, as the Orioles got back into it. So each team now has fought from behind. The Pirates over in Pittsburgh and Baltimore here, and we're down to the 7th game, and let's look at the starting pitchers now. Going for Pittsburgh will be the man that got Pittsburgh on the winning track in this series, Steve Blass, who pitched a brilliant 3-hitter at Pittsburgh. Blass won 15 and lost 10. He's typical of the Pittsburgh staff. They're trying to do it with 10 and 15 game winners against all the 20-game winners the Orioles have, and the Pirates have more than held their own. Starting for the Baltimore Orioles will be their 20-game winner, their crafty left-hander, 34-year-old Mike Cuellar, and Blass defeated him decisively in Game 3 of the World Series at Pittsburgh. So it's Cuellar against Blass for the championship. Both bullpens will be loaded, as you all know. And now let's get the slants from Baltimore's Chuck Thompson.
Well, thank you very much, Kurt, and well, you know, you seldom get to this. The 7th game of the World Series is unlike anything else in sports, and I must confess I think I'm a little more nervous this afternoon than I was in Game 1. And the Baltimore side of it, I think Baltimore fans are feeling that maybe yesterday they saw a little bit of a comeback from Baltimore, not necessarily that they won the game. But things like they played their first errorless ball game. They were able to steal a base, take an extra base, and more importantly than anything else, able to shut out that outstanding Pittsburgh lineup for 7 innings. Able to do some of the things that brought them a championship in the American League. Able to do some things that the Pittsburgh Pirates' outstanding pitching has kept them from doing throughout the first 6 games. Game 7 of the 1971 World Series. I can't wait for it to start. And now down to Tony Kubek.
With me, Brooks Robinson. And Brooks, there's always pressure in the World Series, an all-star game, pennant-clinching victories or anyplace else. But the Baltimore Orioles and Brooks Robinson has never been in a 7th game. How are you feeling?
Well, I feel fine, Tony. I'm a little excited, and like they say, you can really feel it inside, and just the crowd here will make you feel it inside, and I just hope we have a good ball game.
An entire season, playoffs, spring training, all boils down to this one game, the 7th game of the World Series.
I guess that's the way it's supposed to be, Tony, but it's going to be an exciting ball game, and we worked long and hard, and we were number 1 last year, and we got a chance to be number 1 this year, and that's what we've been shooting for all year.
Brooks Robinson, thank you so much. Good luck.
Okay, Tony, thank you.
Back upstairs.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Baltimore's Memorial Stadium for the 7th game of the 1971 World Series. Here are the official lineups. First, the National League champion, Pittsburgh Pirates. Here is the manager of the Pirates, number 40, Danny Murtaugh. Batting first, playing second base, number 30, Dave Cash. Batting second, playing center field, number 15, Gene Clines. Batting third, playing right field, number 21, Roberto Clemente. Batting fourth, playing first base, number 7, Bob Robertson. Batting fifth, catching for Pittsburgh, number 35, Manny Sanguillen. Batting sixth, playing left field, number 8, Willie Stargell. Batting seventh, playing third base, number 11, Jose Pagan. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 2, Jackie Hernandez. Batting ninth, and pitching for the Pirates this afternoon, number 28, Steve Blass, warming up in the bullpen. And here are the remaining players and coaches of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, for the American League and defending world champion, Baltimore Orioles. Here is the manager of the Orioles, number 4, Earl Weaver. Batting first, playing left field, number 9, Don Buford. Batting second, playing second base, number 15, Dave Johnson. Batting third, the first baseman, number 26, Boog. Batting fourth, playing right field, number 20, Frank Robinson. Batting fifth, playing center field, number 14, Merv Redmond. Batting sixth, playing third base, number 5, Brooks Robinson. Batting seventh, catching for Baltimore, number 10, Elrod Hendricks. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 7, Mark Bellinger. Batting ninth and pitching for the Orioles this afternoon, number 35, Mike Cuellar, warming up on the sidelines. And here are the remaining players and coaches of the Baltimore Orioles. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem, which will be played by the 1st United States Army Band.
You might have wondered the shot of Elrod Hendricks why he had the bat in his hand. He was simulating a batter as Cuellar warmed up. So Hendricks did not come out of the dugout to be introduced along with the rest of his Baltimore teammates. And another oddity about the introduction, Earl Weaver gave a personal applause to each Oriole as they came out. I guess thanks, fellas, for the great season you gave me here. Win or lose today. Now the meeting at home plate. 6 umpires again. Nestor Shylock will be behind the plate. You're watching Cuellar warm up. He's taking extra warm up. He has trouble getting started sometimes. Ed Sudol will be umpiring at first. Johnny Rice at second. Vargo at third. Jim Odom umpiring the left field line. And John Kibler the right field line. The ceremonial first pitch today will be thrown out by our Secretary of State, William Rogers. Commissioner Bowie Kuhn hands him the ball. Elrod Hendricks, the catcher of the Orioles, ready to receive it. Good arm. Very good, Mr. Secretary. Once more. Uh-oh. I guess that's the Secretary's blooper pitch. Well, the 7th and final game of the 1971 World Series being brought to you from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore as the Pittsburgh Pirates meet the Baltimore Orioles. All right, the Orioles taking the field. Chuck Thompson will set him up defensively. Let me say, though, that the wind is a big factor today. A strong wind blowing from first toward third. Balls hit in the air to right field will be held up, and the wind could cause problems on fly balls and pop-ups. Mike Cuellar slowly moving to the mound, and here to take you on the play-by-play for the first part of the game, the Orioles' voice, Chuck Thompson.
Thank you very much, Kurt, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And again, the Oriole defensive infield, starting with Powell at first base, and second baseman Dave Johnson, shortstop Mark Belanger, and the third baseman Brooks Robinson. The outfield will have Don Buford in left field, Merv Rettenmund, the center fielder, and the right fielder Frank Robinson. Catching is Elrod Hendricks, and the pitcher will be Mike Cuellar. Cuellar, who started Game 3 in the Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh and had control problems, walking 6. But if you were with us through the warm-up and pre-game show, you heard manager Earl Weaver make the statement that he would take from Cuellar again today what he got in Pittsburgh, meaning that through 6 innings, but 2 runs. And, of course, the Pirates broke the ball game open in Pittsburgh against Cuellar on a walk and error, and then Bob Robertson with a booming home run. And that may have had something to do, Kurt, with manager Murtaugh's thinking and the last-minute shuffle in the lineup that knocked Stargell out of the number 4 spot and replaced him with Bob Robertson and moved Manny Sanguillen from the number 7 position, or rather the number 6 position, up to the number 5 spot, and dropped Stargell down into the number 6 position. Well, here is Dave Cash. And that's the season average, and in this World Series, he is a 154 hitter with 4 hits and 26 trips, and against Cuellar, he went 1 for 2. We're underway on the strike call. And speaking of strikes and strikeouts, Cash, in 26 at-bats in this World Series, has not struck out. And he is the only regular without a strikeout. 1 ball and 1 strike. For those of you who did not watch Cuellar in Game 3, he possesses a full repertoire of pitches. He has the good curveball. He has one of the better screwballs in baseball, a fastball, and a slider. To Brooks Robinson, and that will be the first out in the final game.
Brooks Robinson playing the short hop or the offbeat hop. He cradles the ball sometimes like that up into his stomach. Makes his throw. Well, the Orioles are off to a good defensive start. And here's Gene Klein's, Chuck.
Klein's a 143 hitter in the series, and that's his yearly mark, 308. And let's see, watch Rettenmund and left fielder Buford. It'll be the center fielder Rettenmund. And we have 2 down in the Pirate half of the first inning. Though it was not apparent on that fly ball, keep in mind the point that Kurt brought out a moment ago. There is a strong 8 to 15 mile an hour wind from first to third, or from the right field foul pole to the left field if you prefer. And here is an indication of what the outfielders, infielders will contend with on a ball that gets up high enough today. And speaking of problems to contend with, Baltimore has had its hands full and then some trying to handle Roberto Clemente, a .440 hitter in the World Series, and a ball one. Clemente's game against Cuellar in Pittsburgh saw him come to the plate 4 times with 1 base hit. And Clemente has done it all for the Pirates here in this 71 series. 2 balls, no strikes. By that I mean he has a pair of doubles. He also has a triple. He has a home run. He has knocked in 3. He has 11 base hits in 25 trips to the plate. That's the slow curveball from Cuellar. Cuellar will change speeds on both the curve and on the screwball.
Clemente's been murdering outside fastballs through this series. And Cuellar has been feeding him that slow junk.
Belanger, the shortstop. They've got him, and it is a 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. At the end of a half inning of play, the score is Pittsburgh 0 and Baltimore coming to bat. Now quickly we'll take a look at the Pirate defense for you. First baseman Bob Robertson, and the outstanding Norm Cash, Pittsburgh second baseman. Hernandez, the shortstop, and at third base it'll be Jose Pagan. The outfield will have Stargell in left, Rich Kleins, the center fielder, and Mr. Roberto Clemente in right field. And behind the plate we have Manny Sanguillen, and on the mound Steve Blass. And in Game 3 in Pittsburgh, he twirled a 3-hitter against the Orioles. Frank Robinson had 2 hits in 4 trips, and one of those was a home run, and that was the only run that Blass allowed the Orioles that day. And I guess when people think back over this 1971 World Series, I think a lot of people will say that Blass, perhaps more than anyone else, turned the series around. I believe I said Norm Cash for the Pirate second baseman. Excuse me, and I thank you for the correction. It is Dave Cash, of course. Thank you.
And here's a fella, Chuck Buford, in the middle of everything yesterday. On base 4 times, made a big throw to second. He played some games.
Ellie is a .250 hitter in the World Series. Went 0 for 4 against Blass in Pittsburgh. And the ball 1. One nothing to Buford. Ball 2. Two balls, no strikes to Buford, who will be followed by the man you're looking at now, Dave Johnson, in the on-deck circle. The take on and the strike. 2 balls, 1 strike to Buford. Buford has had 5 hits and 20 at-bats in this series. 3 of the 5 have been extra base hits, a double and a pair of home runs, and a .250 average against Pirate pitching in the series. The 2-1. Good breaking stuff from Steve Blass. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Like a shake-off and a couple, huh? The 2-2. And you heard him talking earlier in the pre-game show today that he intended to try and set up the fastball and the slider with that pitch that he just missed with, the slow overhand curveball that fills the count 3-2 to Buford. He missed again. A leadoff walk to Buford. In his complete game victory in Pittsburgh, Blass walked only 2 Orioles. Now he walks leadoff hitter Buford.
To talk to the Pittsburgh players, their manager and coaching staff, they think a lot of Dave Johnson. They all respect him. They think he's the most underrated player in the Baltimore lineup. Very high in praise of him. A
Kurt, I think I would agree with that appraisal of Dave Johnson. He certainly does not or has not gotten the credit that he has deserved as an Oriole. That was a fastball and a count ball 1 now to Johnson. His series batting average is 174, 4 hits and 23 trips. And when last he faced Blas in Pittsburgh, he was 0 for 3. And of course, he had a very big hit for Baltimore yesterday. That's the lead of Buford at first. Out of play, 1 ball, 1 strike. The on-deck batter, Boog Powell. And the Oriole bat boy, Jay Mazzo. I think all baseball players, particularly the American League players, and I think if you had the chance to talk to the Pirates in this World Series, would have nothing but great praise for the Oriole bat boy, Jay Mazzo. And this is his last year with Baltimore. He will be going to college and then not able to continue as a bat boy. It's been a great experience for the Orioles to have him as a bat boy, and of course, he feels it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to him. 1 ball, 1 strike to Dave Johnson. The bunt. One gone. As you have mentioned, and any baseball fan, of course, only too well aware that the 7th game of a World Series is just like no other game that you're going to see. Expect the unexpected. And here now, Boog Powell. Boog in his game against Blas in Pittsburgh was collared 0 for 4. In the series, 3 for 23, an average of 180, and he has knocked in only 1 run in this 1971 series. How strong has been the Pittsburgh pitching. That's the curveball from Blas. Beautifully thrown in the strike zone. You were a little bit late joining us. Don Buford opened the game with a base on ball. Stayed there as Johnson popped out on the bunt. The Pirates were 3 up and 3 down against Cuellar. Foul ball. Foul ball.
That's the hardest ball Powell's hit in the series.
He did have all of that, Kurt, but well out in front of the pitch. It was foul the second it left the bat.
Everybody's waiting for either Powell or Stargell to break out. They haven't yet. Today could be the day.
Well, if both of them break out in the same game, Kurt, we're in for a super afternoon. 2-strike pitch to Boog Powell. Foul ball. You see the wrist bandages on Boog Powell, and you know about his hand problem. And one of the he does it a lot, hurts it, re-injures it, checking a swing. But truthfully, he does that right wrist more harm sliding than any other way. He just cannot avoid putting that hand down, and he gives it an awful jar every time he slides. The Orioles have given him all sorts of things to carry in that hand as a base runner, and he still puts the hand down. 2 strikes to Powell. 1 out. Buford at first. Look now. 1 and 2. Well, it has been strictly a home team World Series so far. The Pirates have won every game played in Pittsburgh. The Orioles have won every game played in Baltimore. And now time, Earl Weaver is on his way. And there is something that needs to be straightened out right now. And from my vantage point, I would not care to make a guess. But Nestor Shylock wants to see Danny Murtaugh, perhaps, or Verdon, and it appears that it involves pitcher Steve Blas.
I don't know whether it's something in the uniform. We've had examples of torn sleeves, white undershirt. Now Murtaugh and Blas It is something to do. Weaver pointed out something, and Shylock's agreed with him. There's Earl Weaver going back to the Baltimore dugout. While they do this, we'll tell you the telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. They kept looking at the mound, Chuck.
I wish I could make the intelligent guess, but I really can't. And I think perhaps the best thing to do is just wait until we get the information from downstairs, and then we'll definitely know what this protest was all about. Now, Blass has asked for a couple of, warm-up tossers.
I wonder if Weaver was arguing that he was standing off the rubber.
I had thought about this, but let's wait for verification. Alan Roth is getting some information for us right now, Kurt. And now Weaver is on his way again. That is exactly correct, Kurt Gowdy. That's what Weaver's protest was, that Blass was not in contact with the rubber, that he was pitching off the first base side of it, apparently. And
1 foot has to be on that rubber.
I'd like to, perhaps a little later, if we have the opportunity to get Tony Kubek's viewpoint on this. I'm trying to think of what possible advantage, other than being in front of the rubber, where you would be, cheating an inch or two in your delivery. But it seemed to me that Blass was more to the first base side of the rubber than in front of it. All right, here is the 1-ball, 2-strike pitch to Powell. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kurt?
And, of course, it's a needling tactic by Earl Weaver. If he thought of any way he could upset Blass or the Pirates, he's out there to do it.
Well, you see that Blass does work from the extreme first base end of the rubber. And the 2-2 to Powell. There's that curve, and he just has not been able to get it over consistently. Of course, he's only faced 3 men. 3-2 now.
That's his important pitch. He must get that slow curve over. When he does, he's really rough. That's really his changeup.
Now, here is a good close-up shot, and quite obviously, Blass is exactly where he is supposed to be, in contact with the rubber. And this is the payoff. 3-2 pitch to Powell. Buford at first and 1 out. They hold Buford, and Powell strikes out. Now to Tony Kubek.
Actually, what was happening is Earl Weaver was talking about a few things. He thought he was going to his mouth too much. He was not stopping with a man on first base. But mainly, they had noted in the first ball game that Blass was digging a hole toward the first base side of the pitcher's rubber, off the pitcher rubbing surface. They want him to be on that rubber. And of course, as Kurt mentioned, a little bit of psychological warfare to rattle Steve Blass by Earl Weaver. Back upstairs.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much. Here is Frank Robinson, 2 down. And we'll watch Clemente, the right fielder. The wind is holding it up a little bit. Clemente there and makes the grab for the final out of the inning. Baltimore, no runs, no base hits, no Pirate errors, and 1 man left. At the end of 1 inning of play, the score is Baltimore nothing, Pittsburgh nothing. Well, in the Pittsburgh half of the 2nd inning, the number 4 hitter will be Bob Robertson. He will be followed by Manny Sanguillen, and then it will be Willie Stargell. Now, the original order that Danny Murtaugh posted had Stargell batting 4, Robertson 5, and Sanguillen 6. He changed just moments before the game, and now it's Robertson 4, Sanguillen 5, and Stargell 6.
I think he wanted to get Robertson up behind Clemente. Robertson with 5 RBIs leads the Pirates in knocking in runs in this series.
And against Cuellar in Pittsburgh, he went 1 for 4, but it was a 3-run home run. Yep. 1 pitch and a line shot into the glove of Brooks Robinson. 1 away. And now Manny Sanguillen. And Sanguillen, against Cuellar in Pittsburgh, had the good afternoon with 2 hits and 3 trips. And an outstanding series for this very fine young catcher, Manny Sanguillen. He is hitting .360 in the series. Has one extra base hit, a double, and he's also stolen 2 bases.
He always draws that line, as Bob Prince explained to you over in Pittsburgh, where he places his feet with his stance in the batter's box. And he's digging right in alongside that line he drew for himself.
Cuellar to Manny Sanguillen. And the foul out of play on the Cuellar screwball.
This fella murdered lefties during the year. He hit .345 against left-handers, .300 against right-handers.
That's the hard screwball from Cuellar.
Cuellar, though, is not a normal left-hander. When he throws that screwball, it breaks away from a right-hander.
Now the 2-strike pitch to Sanguillen. Out of play. Behind Sanguillen comes Stargell. Another screw Genie misses. One out, nobody on. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Sanguillen. Curveball. Five in a row now.
Brooks Robinson staying in front of the ball. This is always the advantage of playing a ball in front of you instead of to the side. And he knows he's going against an excellent runner to first base, Sanguillen, who made it a fairly close play.
And now Willie Stargell. Stargell 4 for 20 in the series, and he was 0 for 1 against Cuellar in Pittsburgh, but he walked 3 times. And now the Cuellar fastball to Stargell. And another fastball. Strike 2.
Yesterday, Palmer got Stargell out on fastballs. Pagan on deck.
2-strike pitch to Stargell. Another fastball. And the Pirates are 3 up and 3 down. At the end of an inning and a half to score is Pittsburgh nothing and Baltimore nothing. Well, another chance for you around the world to meet Oriole coaches, first base coach George Staller and third base coach Billy Hunter. There are over 200 television stations in the United States, 450 radio stations, and 400 American Forces radio stations around the world carrying the 1971 World Series, seen in Taiwan, Canada, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Colombia, Virgin Islands, Bermuda, Dominican Republic, Hawaii, Alaska, Mexico, United States bases in Germany, Korea, Manila, Panama. Here is Merv Rettenmund, a .217 hitter in this series. 5 for 23 and 0 for 4 against Blass in Pittsburgh. Shortstop Hernandez. 1 gone. One of the heroes in the Orioles' victory in Game 6 is at the plate now, Brooks Robinson. His World Series average, as you see, right there. No extra base hits, but 5 runs batted in. Good fastball from Blass. And another 1 ball, 1 strike. Two balls and a strike to Brooks Robinson.
Blass used to have trouble with his fielding. He sometimes came off the mound and would be hit in the rear by a line drive. They finally got him to balance himself when he came off the mound to be able to field going either way.
And a ball 3. Well, you saw an example in the Dobson game in Pittsburgh that being able to field your position could certainly help, because there were many Pirate shots back through the middle that Dobson merely, he couldn't get himself in position to do anything about. Ball 4 to Brooks Robinson. And walk number 2 issued by Steve Blass. The batter will be Elrod Hendricks. He is hitting 188 in the series. 3 hits and 16 trips. And his effort against Blass in Pittsburgh, he was collared in 3 trips, and that was his seasonal mark we just looked at. And you notice that Robertson does not hold with Robinson at first base. Good breaking stuff, strike. And the Pirates continue to play Hendricks, much in the manner they play a Boog Powell. With a man on base, the shortstop doesn't come over to the first base side, but almost. Bob Robertson, uh-oh! And Brooks Robinson will hold at second. Error to the first baseman, Bob Robertson.
Now watch this hop to Bob Robertson. He's been steady as a rock down there. He was watching that second hop. Looked like it skidded on him. It came up higher than he thought it would, but Robertson played. He's going to stand out at first base, and he kept this play right here.
Well, in the first 5 games of the World Series, it was the Baltimore Orioles who were, making errors. Yesterday, the Pirates came up with their second. Today, they have come up with only their 3rd error in this series. Cash, beautiful pickup. He's got 1 at second. On to first, he pulled. No, he got him. He got him. Robertson maintained contact with the bag long enough to get Belanger in the double. So at the end of 2 full innings of play, the score is Pittsburgh 0 and Baltimore 0.
Frank Oshiak's coaching at third for Pittsburgh. Don Leppert at first. Let's see if we can see the tail end of that double play. Here it is. We were talking about Dave Johnson. This Cash kid's been playing great ball, too. In the middle part of double plays. Now here he is starting one. Over to first. Now watch Robertson's foot. Is it on the bag? Looks like it was on the inside part of the bag. He wasn't pulled off. And the Pirates got a big double play.
He definitely did maintain contact with that bag all of the time, Kurt.
That's the 7th Pirate double play of the World Series. 5 have been made in the infield.
To the top of the 3rd inning in Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, the final game of the 1971 series. Jose Pagan. And Pagan in the series, a .250 hitter, and that's his seasonal mark you're looking at right now. And against Cuellar, Pagan had a 3 for 12 in this series. Ball 1. Cuellar has retired the first 6 Pirates he has seen. The curve.
Yeah, Jim Russo, the Baltimore scout, was telling me before the game, Chuck, he said, we were wondering, the Latin players seem to be able to hit Cuellar. Cuellar's a Cuban. Maybe they know him. We just can't figure it out.
Brooks Robinson at third. He got the good hop. And now 7 in a row have gone down against Cuellar. Shortstop Jackie Hernandez. And a .267 hitter in the World Series and in the season, 206, as you know. Actually, he's been to the plate 15 times with 4 base hits. He has a run batted in, and he also has a stolen base. Well, he's out of the box, or is he? Hold on a minute. Foul ball. Just a foul ball. And it hit him in foul territory. 1 strike to Hernandez. You want Shylock to take a look at the ball, see if he was scarred in any way, blemished on the bunt. You're just tuning in. 1 out, nobody on. Top of the 3rd inning, no score. It is out of play, and the count now 2 strikes to Hernandez. And Cuellar has maintained this sort of a pattern against the Pirates in the early innings. He has gotten ahead of the hitters and stayed there. 2-strike pitch. Out of the ground foul. Is off the first base side. 2 strikes the count to Hernandez. And Blas will be due behind Hernandez. There he is. Frank Robinson tracking in right field. 2 down. Well, First Tuesday has changed. It's now Chronologue, and we'll still examine the new and unusual stories that make the headlines. Join Garrick Utley and watch Chronologue this Friday night right here on NBC.
Number 28, Steve Blas.
Here's Steve Blas. His lifetime batting average in the National League is 135. Must admit that Steve really had himself a pretty good cut. Strike 1.
They're going to have a day for Blas in Canaan, Connecticut, October 22nd, I believe it is. No matter what he does today, they think he deserves a day in his hometown.
Dave Johnson, second baseman, and another 1-2-3 inning for Baltimore's Cuellar. At the end of 2 1/2 innings of play, the score is Pittsburgh 0 and Baltimore 0.
Coming right up here after this final game of the World Series, you'll see NFL football, either Cleveland at Cincinnati or San Diego at Denver. Right after today's World Series game. Mike Cuellar, who's usually shaky in the early innings, has been sharp today. He's retired 9 in a row in the first 3 innings. And that's something we haven't seen Pittsburgh do, is go down 1-2-3 like that in succession.
Not since the first game. As a matter of fact, Kurt, excluding the first game over the last 5, the Pirates have had at least 1 runner on base in 38 of 43 innings, and now here they are 3 innings in a row, 3 up and 3 down. Pitcher Mike Cuellar. That's the average for Cuellar on the year. Ball 1. Now, Blas, who walked but 2 Orioles in 9 innings of a 5-1 triumph in Pittsburgh, has already issued 2 walks. 1-1. Out of play. Top of the batting order, that's Buford in the on-deck circle. 1-2 to Cuellar. Blas picks up strikeout number 2.
Number 9, Don Buford.
Buford with the outstanding on-base percentage for Baltimore of over 400. And he opened the ball game with a base on balls. Blas just came right after the Birds and held Buford at first, but look out. Behind him, he's all right. Ball 1. One nothing to Buford. 1-1. Dave Johnson, the on-deck hitter. Due batter behind Buford. 2-1 now. Appeared to be the curveball again from Blas.
Look at that hole at shortstop they give Buford.
There it is. The 2-1. Off Buford's foot. It is a foul ball, and what an effort from Steve Blass. Oof.
Like the old gas house game. Pepper Martin sliding into a bag.
Well, if you'll not do it in the 7th game of the series, you'll not do it anywhere. Fine effort from Blass. The count, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Buford. And Steve seems to be okay. And again, Buford has a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on, and no score in the last of the 3rd, Game 7. Foul ball. Base hit. Stargell chasing for it. And check that. Clemente chasing for it. And Buford has reached for the 2nd time this afternoon. Clemente cut that ball off with that good speed. It had a chance of getting in the alley between Kleins and Clemente. And Roberto got to it very quickly and held Buford to a single. Baltimore's first base hit. Here is Johnson with Buford at first base and none out in the 1st inning. He attempted to bunt and popped out to the pitcher, Blass. There goes Buford. They've got him hung up. And he is out at second base. He broke too soon, and the alert Blass just cut him down.
Blass saw him to Robertson. Robertson got rid of that ball quickly to Cash. Buford right into him. And let's take a look at it from this angle. He thought he was going to make his pitch to the plate. And Buford is out from the pitcher to the first baseman to the second baseman. Dave Cash bumped into by Buford, and they came out to look at him. He was flexing his right leg, but he appears to be all right. So that makes it 2 down now, and nobody on. The Pirates have had 3 men cut down on the bases in this series. And this is the first time the Orioles have run into trouble on the bases.
So with 2 down and nobody on, Johnson waiting the first one from Steve Blass. Oh, what a fine play from Pagan. And the final out of the inning. Baltimore, no runs, 1 base hit, no Pirate errors, nobody left. At the end of 3 complete, the score is Pittsburgh nothing and Baltimore nothing. Well, we go now to the top of the 4th inning at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, and the top of the Pirate batting order. That'll be Dave Cash, Rich Klein, Gene Kleins, and then Roberto Clemente. Cash, Kleins, Clemente. Cash in the 1st inning was out on the ground ball to Brooks Robinson. Klein skied to the center fielder Retman, and Roberto bounced to the shortstop, Mark Belanger. So the Pirates now start the 2nd go-round against Cuellar. Strike 1. Dave Johnson reaches, and now the Pirates have sent 10 up, and Cuellar has retired 10 in a row. Here is Gene Kleins in the 1st inning against Miguel Cuellar. He flied to center fielder Retmond. Had the dandy year at 308. Speed to burn. Oh, he can fly. Bunt effort, Cuellar. Bare hand. Hey, they got him on a nifty play from Powell. Oh, that was a fine pickup of what appeared to be a tough kind of a throw to handle.
Well, we've been watching two first basemen in this series who are very underrated fielders. Watch Powell dig this one out of the dirt. The runner coming right into him, a difficult play. Up he comes. Powell and Robertson add a measure of excellence to each of these infielders.
And what a great shot of that catch from Boog Powell. Here is Roberto Clemente against Cuellar in the first inning. He grounded to short. That is hit well. A Clemente home run, and the Pirates lead 1-0.
Like he hit a breaking pitch right over the plate. That's his 12th hit. He's one short now, tying Bobby Richardson's all-time World Series record of 13 hits in a 7-game World Series. He had a triple and a homer yesterday and a home run today. Let's watch his swing now. Look at him tee off. Everything in that 180-pound body, whipping around. This one he pulled to left center. Most of his hits have been to right.
Brooks Robinson, and that will be the final out. But the Clemente home run gives the Pirates at the end of 3 1/2. Now let's take a look at the Brooks Robinson play again on the final out to retire Bob Robertson. Cutting in front of shortstop Belanger. And the recovery in the throw to first. And so, at the end of 3 1/2 innings of play, it is Pittsburgh 1 and Baltimore 0.
The NCAA and NBC have been partners in numerous events through the years, and the association continues with a prestigious Collegiate Basketball Championship, another World Series event that will be seen on NBC next March. I noticed when Clemente went to his position in right, he's got quite a rooting section out there in right field. There are a few hundred Pittsburgh fans right above him, and they gave him a standing ovation. They have Pittsburgh banners and caps on out there.
And if he doesn't deserve one, I'd like to find somebody who does. That's a ball one to Boog Powell. There are a lot of adjectives you could use to describe Roberto Clemente. He just lets that bat and overall brilliance to a point. In all departments of baseball, throwing, running, fielding, hitting. Let's see if it stays in play. Coming on is Pagan. Look out, and he could not get to it. And as we have mentioned and have shown you, the Pirates overshift on Powell, of course, gave Pagan a tremendous amount of real estate to cover in an effort to get near that foul ball.
And about Pagan, in Game 5, he played brilliantly at third base, and he's made an outstanding play already in this series. So he has given the Pirates some real sparkle there at third.
He had to come from about the shortstop's position or in the hole off into foul ground in a chase for the Powell foul ball. And second baseman Cash is there. One away. And now Frank Robinson, who flied to right fielder Clemente in the first inning.
Number 20, Frank Robinson.
Those are the figures on Frank Robinson in this World Series. 2 home runs, 2 runs batted in. It'll be out of play. Strike 1. Out of play. On deck hitter Rettenmund. So Steve Blass quickly ahead of the hitter Frank Robinson. 0-2. Here's his 2-strike pitch. Out of play. Both Blass and Cuellar pitching one-hitters through the opening innings. The one hit off Cuellar, the home run by Clemente accounting for the Pirate. Beautiful curveball from Blass. And he picks up strikeout number 3, his third strikeout.
This is an important pitch for Blass. This is a slow curve, and he uses it as his changeup. He was having trouble getting it over in the first couple of innings, but he had Robinson way off his timing. Now, if he gets this pitch over, along with the fastball he has and a slider, he's going to be tough.
Here is Merv Rettenmund with 2 out and nobody on.
And Chuck, all the Orioles have told us that Blass has had the best stuff of the Pirate pitchers they've hit against.
Absolutely. 1-0 to Rettenmund. The Pirates have scored first in 5 of the 7 games. Here comes Pagan. What a pickup and throw. And the Orioles are 3 up and 3 down. At the end of 4 complete, the score is Pittsburgh 1 and Baltimore nothing.
A reminder to all sports fans that in February 1972, NBC Sports will be in Sapporo, Japan, telecasting the 1972 Olympic Winter Games. Over 30 hours of skiing, ski jumping, cross-country, bobsledding, speed skating, figure skating, hockey. All the events that make the Winter Olympics so exciting. And you'll see it all right here on NBC. And as we were talking about the Winter Olympics in Japan, they just flashed on the scoreboard that the Baltimore Orioles will be leaving Wednesday for a month tour playing Japanese professional baseball team.
Well, we go to the top of the 5th inning, and it'll be Manny Sanguillen, Willie Stargell, and Jose Pagan against Cuellar. Out of play. Sanguillen in the second against Cuellar, grounded to third baseman Robinson. That's a very interesting message, Sanguillen, the toughest Pirate to fan. 2 strikes.
And they walked only 6 times all year. That is aside from intentional walks. He's up there swinging all the time.
One ball, 2 strikes. He also believes in that old baseball theory, swing hard just in case you happen to hit the ball. He really takes some great cuts. One and 2 to Sanguillen. Watch Rettenmund. He'll not get to it. A base hit for Manny Sanguillen. Hit number 2 for the Pirates. And now Willie Stargell. The last time he faced Cuellar in the second inning, Cuellar just went right after him with fastballs and struck him out. Now let's see if Cuellar changes the pattern against Stargell as he works on him the second time. Yeah, fastball low, ball 1. Well, change curve and the count 2 balls, no strikes, something that Stargell did not see in his first trip to the plate, a breaking ball. Ball 3. Cuellar now behind to Stargell. And through the early innings, as you are well aware, one thing Cuellar did was to stay ahead of the hitters. Now here on the top of the 5th, so he got ahead of Sanguillen. He lost him on the base hit to center and now trails 3 balls, no strikes to Stargell. 3-1. And I would think this would be a tough pitch for Cuellar to make to Stargell. 3 balls, 1 strike. Nobody out, and Sanguillen at first. Three and 2. And he came back with a fastball. Well, with the good running Sanguillen at first base, Pirates leading at 1-0. Nobody out here on the top of the fifth. 3-2 pitch coming to Stargell. Sanguillen holds, and Stargell strikes out again. And the batter now, Jose Pagan. Grounded to third base in the third inning. Screwball outside. Base runner Sanguillen at first. Now the 1-0 pitch to Pagan. Belanger. Yes, sir. The call at second base is out.
Belanger has unusual range, and he really gets over here in the hole. Hernandez made this kind of a play over in Pittsburgh. Look at that throw right there. Just in time. Sanguillen argued, but he's there. Here comes Sanguillen into the bag. Close play.
So there are now 2 down in the Pirate half of the fifth inning, and Hernandez, who fly to right fielder Frank Robinson in the third. Pagan at first base. 2 out. Pirates leading 1-0. Hernandez refused to chase that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and two. And those of you who watch Cuellar work in Pittsburgh, I'm sure will agree that he seems to be throwing many more fastballs this afternoon than he did in Pittsburgh in Game 3. It for the Pirates in their half of the fifth inning. No runs, 1 base hit, no Oriole errors, 1 man left. At the end of 4 1/2 innings of play, the score is Pittsburgh 1 and Baltimore 0. All ready to go to the last half of the fifth inning in Baltimore, and it's with a great deal of pleasure I turn you over again to NBC's Curt Gowdy. Curt?
Thank you, Chuck Thompson. Brooks Robinson walked his first time. The Pirates have 2 hits. The Orioles 1 hit. That's ball for a strike. Buford has the lone hit. That came in the third inning, a single to right center. Glasses walked 2. He struck out 3. Robinson chasing the outside curve. 0-2 to Brooks Robinson. Ellie Hendricks on deck, and then Mark Belanger. Hendricks. There's a fly ball that Clemente is waiting for. 1 down. Earl Weaver, like yesterday, is clubbed behind. Ellie Hendricks reached in an error his first time. He's 3 out of 17 in this series. Aside from Buford, when he switched hits, the Pirates have stopped the Orioles' left-handed batting. Powell and Hendricks. And they have that shift on again. Ball one. All through this series, Chuck, when the Pirates play a batter as a full hitter, they really play him as one. They don't mess around with it. They get way around. 1-0. Pittsburgh ahead. Last of the fifth.
We could add, Kurt, that they have always been right.
A ball and a strike to Hendricks. Keep looking for him to take that outside pitch and try to go to left field with it, or left center. There's a drive into right center. Clemente going hard. Can't get it. Hendricks is coming for two. The throw by Kleins, and he's in there safe. He got that ball in the gap.
Again, we'll watch Clemente in right field. He did it. He was able to cut it off on the drive that was hit in there by Buford in the third inning, but this one he just couldn't get to. And Kleins right behind him. Then watch this good throw from Kleins, even kind of off balance. And Hendricks reaching just ahead of him.
Mark Belanger wrapped into a double play his first time. Hendricks at second. One out. Pittsburgh ahead 1-0. Last of the fifth inning. Fly ball, straight away center. Kleins backing up. Hendricks tagging at second. He's not coming. The throw comes into the shortstop, Hernandez. Two down, and Mike Cuellar will be up. He struck out his first time.
Number 35, Mike Cuellar.
Glass looking around to see if his teammates are set. He said something to Bob Robertson at first base. One ball, no strikes.
Cuellar is not what you'd call a good hitting pitcher, Kurt, but he's kind of dangerous. He loves to swing, swings hard, and he can hit the ball with power.
He had a grand slam homer against the Twins, I remember, in last year's playoffs. Ball two. 2-0 to the opposing pitcher. Steve Blass. An emotional sort of a fella. Has some good quips. His father, a plumber, is here today, as he was in Pittsburgh. The 2-0 delivery. A strike. 2-1. Blass walked Cuellar in game 3. The 2-1 delivery. Strike 2, 2-2 to Cuellar. And we're going to have some warm-up action now in the Pittsburgh bullpen. Luke Walker, a left-hander, loosening up. The first warm-up action we've had today. Walker. That's a foul headed in back of the Oriole dugout, not a play. Hendricks going back to second with 2 away. They're estimating that the winner's share of this World Series will be around 20,000, 18 to 20,000. The loser will get around 14 to 16,000 apiece. A rich payoff. The 2-2 pitch. Quick free, he's out of there. And that's the 4th strikeout for Steve Blass. In the 5th, the Orioles, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 5, Pittsburgh 1, Baltimore nothing. One of the Baltimore groundkeepers, Linda Wareheim, with her little act at the end of the 4th inning, brushing off Brooks Robinson's shoes. Third base, and here's a little brush off to umpire Ed Bargo. Steve Blass leads off in the 6th inning for the Pirates. Fouls it away. Blass grounded out his first time. We'll go up to the top of the order and pick up Dave Cash and Gene Klein. Cuellar and Blass hooked up here in a brilliant pitching duel on a slate gray day in Baltimore. To the mound. One away. One swipe of the bat by Roberto Clemente is the difference right now in this game. Clemente homered over the left center field fence in the 4th inning with 2 down. That's the only scoring if you just joined us. Dave Cash is grounded to 3rd, line to 2nd.
Number 30, Dave Cash.
And the man of the week right now in Utica, New York, Dave Cash. Strike, he hasn't hit much in this series, but he's played his position brilliantly. Especially on the middle of double plays, getting out of the way of rolling blocks. Punches it foul to right field. 0-2 to Cash. We played the first 5 innings of this game in 1 hour and 5 minutes. Both these pitchers working quickly. Fouled away. Cuellar, like Palmer, doesn't mess around on the mound. He likes to work in a hurry.
Kurt, that is something that George Bamberger, the Oriole pitching coach, brought with him. He likes his pitchers to work at a good rhythm. He figures their concentration stays a lot better that way.
1 out, nobody on. 2-strike delivery. Fouled again. They talk about speeding up the game. The best way to speed it up is what Cuellar is doing and Palmer did yesterday. They really make a game move. Two strikes to Cash. A ball now, 1-2. Brooks Robinson was expecting Cash to bunt on him today. And he hasn't yet, and he's got 2 strikes. 2-2. Cuellar, 34 years old, a native of Cuba. His teammates call him Crazy Horse. That's his nickname. Struck him out on an off-speed pitch.
Little compares to the thrills of leading international circus artists and the excitement of the big top. Ed McMahon has your front row seat reserved for the Timex All-Star Circus Tuesday night here on NBC.
Dave Cash just struck out for the first time in the series, so at least one regular now, or every regular in both clubs has struck out at least once. 0-1 to Klein, who has fly to center and bounced to the pitcher. 1 run, 2 hits for Pittsburgh. No runs, 2 hits for Baltimore, 6th inning. 2 down for the Pirates, and the base is empty. Through ball breaking away. Klein's had a great year against lefties. There's Clemente on deck. Cuellar's 2-strike pitch. Foul ball. This is Cuellar's 6th World Series start. He's won 2, lost 1 in World Series competition. He led the Baltimore staff this year in starts, complete games, and innings pitched. Just under 300 innings pitched. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And he and Pat Dobson led the staff in shutouts with 4. 2-2. Two away, nobody on. There's that flowing again. 2 strikeouts that inning for Cuellar. 3 up, 3 down for the Pirates at the end of 5.5. It's Pittsburgh 1, Baltimore nothing. Now a word on behalf of Major League Baseball. Bob Gibson of the Cardinals, Dave Roberts of San Diego will head a group of Major League stars on a tour of the U.S. hospital bases in Hawaii, Guam, the Philippines, and Japan. Greg Nettles of the Indians, Danny Purcell of the Mets. will also be along, and the trip is sponsored by the USO with the cooperation of the Baseball Commissioner's Office. Don Buford has been on base 6 times now, and his last 7 times up.
The batter, number 9, Don Buford.
Yesterday, he had a single, a homer, a walk, and a double. Today, he's walked and singled. He's also reached base 5 times in a row in the 2 games. This is the top of the Baltimore batting order. And Steve Blass is through with a strike to him. Danny Murtaugh, his aide, Bill Burton. Lashes it foul. 2 strikes to Buford. Well, we finally saw Murtaugh show some emotion yesterday in those late innings. He was very unhappy with the umpiring. He started to prowl that dugout. He'll be up and moving before this one is over. Very solid man, Murtaugh. A ball, 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes to Don Buford. Pittsburgh ahead 1-0. Last of the 6th inning. 2-2 count. Steve Blass once paid for ads in local newspapers in Canaan to try and save Little League Baseball in his area. He thinks it's so important for youngsters. He went out and bought his own newspaper ads and urged the citizens to save Little League Baseball. Foul back. 2-2. That's Dave Johnson on deck. Game not quite, but in a similar pattern as yesterday's game. The Pirates grabbed an early 2-0 lead. Today it's 1-0. Oh, a hanging curve. A little high over that plate. The 3-2 count. Blass walked Buford in the first, walked Brooks Robinson in the second. He's not walked anyone since. 3-2 pitch. Fly ball to center fielder Klein. 1 down. Dave Johnson has popped up trying to bunt, grounded to third. 0 for 2.
Number 15, Dave Johnson.
Just about everybody we talked to, Chuck, thought yesterday's game was one of the best World Series games they'd ever seen. He pops it up to the left side. Hernandez squeezes it for out number 2.
Kurt, I think it probably will be one of the greatest, but I'm sure Pittsburgh fans will still say that the final game in 1960 had to be one of the greatest World Series games of all time.
A wilder game, a 10-9 game. Mazeroski's homer in the 9th winning it.
Unbelievable.
Well, we had plots and subplots yesterday. Foul up, struck out, grounded out. In with a strike, 0-1. The Pirates leading on Clementi's homer, 1-0. That home run came in the 4th inning with 2 out, nobody on. Curves him away. They still have that shift on for Powell. And the outfield swung to right. The Orioles have 2 down, bases empty. He wanted that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Powell is now 3 out of 25 in the series. Struck him out on that slow curve. 5 strikeouts for Blass. The Orioles down in order in the 6th. At the end of 6 innings, the score, Pittsburgh 1, Baltimore 0. Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, Dean Martin. Pretty good lineup of talent in any league. And each will host his own golf tournament that will be seen here on NBC early next year. Secretary of State Rogers in the blue suit, seated next to Commissioner Bowie Kuhn. Roberto Clemente will be leading off. And the Secretary of State, like many other fans around the world, applauding his World Series play. Clemente now has hit safely in every game of a 7-game series twice. In the 1960 series, he hit safely in every game. He's hit safely in every game of this series. Hank Bauer is the only other player in World Series history who's performed this feat. If Clemente can get another hit in this game, he will tie an all-time World Series record of 13 hits in a 7-game World Series. And there's a fly ball to center fielder Redmond, puts it away for 1 out. Clemente had grounded out to short and homered to left. 1 down in the 7th.
A little unusual for Clemente. He hit the first pitch, and he does not often do that.
All right, Chuck, here's Bob Robertson. Line to third, grounded to third. Batting cleanup today in a late change just before the ball game by manager Danny Murtaugh. Strike, who manages by the seat of his pants and does it very well, thank you. He goes on how he feels. Strike 2. Well, would like to have one pitch back in that game, the one he fed Clemente. That's the difference right now, 1-0 Pittsburgh in the 7th. Tailed away from him a little bit. Cuellar picking up his strikeout pitch now. Struck out 2 in the 6th, another strikeout here in the 7th, and he had 2 strikeouts in the 5th. He has struck out 6.
Number 35, Manny.
He has not walked a batter. Manny Sanguin is grounded out and singled. And he's come up now with 10 hits in this series. Next to Clemente has the most hits. He lost a high one to right fielder Frank Robinson. And the Pirates are gone in the 7th. 1-2-3. So we're coming up for the Orioles' 7th inning stretch with a score. Pittsburgh 1, Baltimore 0. Right after this World Series game, coming up next on NBC, NFL football. Either Cleveland at Cincinnati or San Diego at Denver. Stay tuned to NBC. All right, the Oriole fans have settled back down. Here's Frank Robinson, Merv Retman, and Brooks Robinson. Steve Blass, who checked the Orioles on 3 hits over in Pittsburgh, has stopped them with no runs and 2 hits so far today. 29 years old. He was a Pirate best pitcher the last 6 weeks of the season. He checks the swing and pops it up to Cash. 1 down. Glass had a total of 5 shutouts during this past season. He tied for the National League lead with Al Downing of the Dodgers, Gibson of the Cardinals, and Pappas of the Cubs.
Number 14.
Oh, and he's right, and he can overpower the other way he's doing today. Retman is grounded to short, grounded to third, 0 for 2. That's Dalrymple coming in from the Oriole bullpen. Ball 1. You know, each World Series, Sport Magazine gives away a Dodge Charger to the outstanding player. Everybody's speculating now who it's going to be. You'd have to say that Clemente is out in front. Now, what if the Orioles rally and win? Do they give it to somebody on the winning team? Not necessarily. There's a foul ball back. In 1960, Bobby Richardson got the car, even though he was on the losers. Earl Weaver, the Oriole manager. Leonard and Dobson are in the Oriole bullpen, a pair of right-handers. Blas could be in there with his pitching performance over in Pittsburgh and again today. 2-1. But only once has a member of the losing team won the card. We'll see how it goes. That's Brooks Robinson on deck, and there are the two right-handers warming up in the Oriole bullpen. The 2-1 pitch. Breaking pitch over. 2-2. Fastball riding out of the strike zone. 3-2. Pitch. Bounding ball to Hernandez. The Pirate shortstop right there with it, and they're 2 down. And Mr. Blas now has retired 7 Orioles in a row in easy fashion. Brooks Robinson has walked and flying to right. 1-0 Pittsburgh, last half the 7th. Blas and Clemente have combined today for the Pirates. Bounding ball to Hernandez at short. To Robertson, and Blas puts him down again. 3 up, 3 down at the end of 7 innings in Baltimore. It's Pittsburgh 1 and Baltimore 0.
The batter, number 8.
Into the 8th inning we go. This game moving at a rapid pace. As Stargell, Pagan, and Hernandez face Cuellar, and you won't ever get much better pitching in a World Series game than this one. But Blas holding just the slight edge. Each pitcher's allowed only 2 hits, but Cuellar gave up a home run to Clemente, and that's been the difference. Ball 1 to Stargell, who struck out twice. Cuellar has struck out 6, has not walked a batter. Blas has struck out 5 and has walked 2. The other Pirate hit was by Sanguin, a single. Cuellar behind Stargell, 2 balls and no strikes. Fouled away. In the last of the 8th, the Orioles have the bottom of their order up. We may be seeing Cuellar for the last time in this game, this inning. There's a ground ball to short, skipped by Belanger into left field. Stargell's on to lead off the 8th inning. A base hit for Stargell, the Pirates' 3rd hit. Pagan is grounded to 3rd, hit into a force play. Ball 1 to him. Brooks Robinson at 3rd, Boog Powell at 1st, defensing against the bunt. One and 1 to Pagan. You have Hernandez and Blas, the number 8 and 9 hitters behind Pagan. 9 years ago in the 1962 World Series, Jose Pagan was playing shortstop for the San Francisco Giants. He was the leading hitter in that series with a .368 average. Runner going. There's a fly ball to deep left center. Retman chasing it. Drags it down. Stargell is being waved around. Here comes the throw, and Willie Stargell is cut off. Boog Powell cut it off, and Stargell, who was running on the pitch, scores all the way from first base. And Pagan has a double. And Earl Weaver is coming out of the Baltimore dugout.
I will take a look at it again. Really unloaded on the drive. Well hit. Wind is helping to drive it away from Rettenmund. He'll juggle it just a little bit, as you see. Hits the cutoff man, Belanger, and now the throw to the plate is cut off by Powell. And I don't know. We'll take a look at Stargell again, all alone. And the opinion is yours to make, whether or not, had he not cut it off, Hendricks would have had to play or not. Well, we don't see the cutoff in this view, but we've already showed it to you. And now we'll take a look at it again and watch Powell cut the throw off and then watch the position. Stargell a couple of strides away, or at least one. But a tough play, and the decision was to cut it off. Stargell had it beaten.
And we'll never know.
Never know.
The Pirates now lead 2-0. Pagan at second. Nobody out. They had Stargell running on that pitch. Hernandez tries to dump it, and it's foul. Strike one. No team has ever won every World Series game in their own ballpark. The Orioles now are trailing 2-0. They have a chance to set some World Series history, but they're behind right now. Baltimore won the first 2 games here and game 6 here. The Pirates won all 3 games in Pittsburgh. And no team's ever won 4 games at home in a World Series. Pagan at second. Eddie Watt, a right-hander. Pete Rickard, a left-hander, are getting ready in the Baltimore bullpen. 2 strikes to Jackie Hernandez. Fly ball to Frank Robinson. Pagan is tagging at second. He's holding. Robinson's throw is into Brooks Robinson. Fairly strong throw by Frank Robinson. And let's see now, we have Leonard now as the middleman of those pitchers. Watts on your left, the right-hander. Rickard on your right, the left-hander. Leonard sits down. Steve Blass getting a hand for his brilliant pitching today from Canaan, Connecticut. And I imagine you can shoot a cannon off in the streets up there right now. Everybody's watching his 7th game efforts today. He bounces it foul to Brooks Robinson. That's Pagan at second, 1 down. The Pirates have just scored again. They lead 2-0 in the top of the 8th.
For that matter, Kurt, I doubt that there are many people walking around in the streets in Pittsburgh either.
That's right. Quite a few here today.
They were saluted, incidentally, on the message board a little earlier. A salute to the Pirate fans for their very good team and their class baseball organization is what the message board said.
That's by the Baltimore organization. Pagan at second. 2 strikes to Steve Blass. Dave Cash is on deck. Taps it to Cuellar, who looks Pagan back to second and throws Blass out. 2 down. The Magic Kingdom of Walt Disney's World comes to life with help from Julie Andrews, Jonathan Winters, Glenn Campbell, and Bob Hope in a very special Friday night, October 29th, right here on NBC. Dave Cash is grounded out, lined out, and struck out. He hits it to Brooks Robinson. Fair ball. Brooks over to first. Low throw. Powell comes up again with a good dig out of the dirt. But the Pirates came up with a run on 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 7.5 innings, the Pittsburgh Pirates 2, the Baltimore Orioles nothing. And we're in the last half of the 8th inning. The Orioles, the defending world champs, are behind by 2 runs. They have 2 innings left now, and Steve Blass has retired the last 8 batters he's faced. And Hendricks has reached in an air and doubled. A strike. He has one of the 2 hits off blast. Buford single in the 3rd, Hendricks doubled in the 5th. And again the shift on against Hendricks, with Hernandez, the shortstop, playing in back of second base. Inside a ball, 1-1. The Pirate bullpen is quiet right now. Glass has struck out 5 and walked 2. Inside, ball 2. Those walks were early, though. He walked Buford in the 1st and Brooks Robinson in the 2nd. He's not walked a batter since. In the Oriole bullpen, Dobson and McNally are warming up. That ball is a fair ball. No, foul ball. I called it foul. Foul ball called by the first base umpire, Ed Sudol. 2-2 to Ellie Hendricks. So there are the 2 game winners, Dobson and McNally. Yesterday, we had a real oddity of baseball when the Orioles used 3 pitchers and everyone was a 20-game winner in one game. We have a 20-game winner on the mound today and 2 20-game winners warming up in the bullpen. But I think the real story in this series, we'll tell you about it here in just a moment, or what are the real highlights. 2-2 pitch to Hendricks. And he drives a base hit into left center. I think one of the real highlights, Chuck, is after the failure of their leading pitcher, Doc Ellis, a 19-game winner, the Pirates, with 6 different starters, with sort of odds and ends pitchers, 10-game winners, 12, 15-game winners, have battled those 4 20-game winners to a standstill, and right now hold a slight edge.
That has to be the story, Kurt. Everyone knew the Pirates could and would hit. Everyone accepted the fact that they defensively could play a game, too. But no one expected the Pirate pitching to be what it has been in this series. Magnificent.
Mark Belanger hit into a double play, flying out. Strike 1 to him. 2 runs, 4 hits for Pittsburgh. No runs, 3 hits for Baltimore. Last of the 8th inning. And you see in the background, Chopay in the on-deck circle. He's going to pinch hit for Cuellar. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ellie Hendricks at first, nobody out in the last of the 8th. Clemente hit a home run in the 4th for Pittsburgh. Pagan doubled in a run in the 8th. That's the scoring. 1 ball, 1 strike. Foul off the 5th, 1-2. And still no action in the Pittsburgh bullpen. There may be now, though. I see some stirring around out there. Yes, they're getting the card out of the way, and I think somebody's going to start warming up. Looks like Luke Walker. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And there's a drive up the middle for a base hit. Hendricks goes in the 2nd, and the Orioles have the tying runs on base in the last of the 8th. Tom Chopay batting for Mike Cuellar. Hendricks at 2nd. Belanger at 1st. Each team with 4 hits. Back-to-back singles for the Orioles, and the Baltimore fans are roaring now. A ball to Chopay. This is the 5th time he's been up as a pinch hitter in the World Series, which ties a World Series record. He hasn't had a hit in 4 official times. A strike, 1-1. The Pirates are in tight. Let's see, they start warming up. Justy, Walker and Justy now in the Pirate bullpen. Chesty the right-hander, Walker the left-hander. Pirates are looking for the bunt at the corners. A 1-1 pitch. He dumps it. It's a good bunt. And it moves the runners up in the second and third. A perfect sacrifice by Chopin. Earl Weaver now sweating it out. Danny Murtaugh signaling to his infield. Walker made that, or Glass made that throw to first. I think he would have had a real gamble trying to go to third. Sanguillen had pointed to third. The catcher calling the play, though. You saw Sanguillen point to third. You thought Glass could have got Hendricks at third. Hendricks is at third now. Belanger at second, one out. Foul back by Buford, who's walked, singled, and flied out. 2-0, Pittsburgh. Baltimore's big threat of the game in the last of the eighth inning. There's Hendricks at third, and Belanger at second. Outside a ball, 1-1 to Don Buford. And either McNally, the left-hander, or Dobson, the right-hander, will come in and pitch the ninth inning for Baltimore. One and one pitch. Foul back and blasted ahead of him. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Another dramatic game such as we had yesterday. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The tying runs at second and third for Baltimore. 1 out. Off-speed pitch is hit to Bob Robertson. A run will score. Steps on the bag. It's a 2-1 game. Over to third goes Belanger. Give Buford an RBI. Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 1 in the last of the eighth inning. Dave Johnson popped up trying to bunt, grounded to third, popped to short, 0 for 3. Yesterday he came up with a big hit when he looped a single in the left field in the 7th inning to tie the game. Pagan is playing shallow at third against him. Breaking pitch away, 1-0. There's Pagan even with the bag. Belanger's at third, 2 down. The Pirates 2, the Orioles 1. Check swing foul, 1-1. One and one to Dave Johnson. In there, strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Belanger at third, 2 down. Now Blass wants to talk to Sanguillen. Stay tuned right after this game. Cleveland at Cincinnati or San Diego at Denver, right here on NBC. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Dave Johnson. Belanger at third, 2 down. Inside. 2-2. It's a ground ball in the hole at short. Hernandez throws right there with a throw. Oh, he's played a steady shortstop in this series. And the Orioles pick up a run. 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 8, Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 1.
Your attention, please. Now coming in the pitch for Baltimore, number 37.
And as Pat Dobson warms up, let's go down to Tony Kubek.
Baseball Commissioner Bowie Kuhn has a very special guest in his box today. And Mr. Commissioner, why don't you introduce him to our baseball fans?
Tony and fans, we're very honored to have with us today the distinguished Secretary of the United States, William P. Rogers.
Secretary Rogers, what are some of the standout and highlights of this ball game for
Well,
you?
I think that Clemente home run has to be the standout today, although the pitching has been great. Blas has been wonderful, and the whole game has been excellent. It's a real pitcher's duel.
You know, after yesterday's game, Mr. Commissioner, I thought there was going to be no more drama, but it's right back again today in the 7th game.
I think the drama is as high in this as it was yesterday. I don't know if we can stand it much longer.
Secretary Rogers, Commissioner Bowie Kuhn, thank you so much. Good to have you here, sir.
Great to be here. Great series.
Thank you all.
Tony.
Back upstairs.
All right, this is Pat Dobson, who in the 9th inning will face Gene Kleins, Roberto Clemente, and Bob Robertson. A couple of final pro football scores. The Washington Redskins won their 5th in a row, shutting out the St. Louis Cardinals 20-0. And the Miami Dolphins murdered the New England Patriots today 41-3. 2 final scores. Right after this game, we'll have NFL football on NBC. Cleveland at Cincinnati or San Diego at Denver. Gene Kleins has flied out, bounced to the pitcher, and struck out. The Pirates have 2 runs and 4 hits. The Orioles have 1 run and 4 hits. Dobson in with a strike. He won 20 and lost 8 this year. It's his 3rd appearance in this World Series. Look out. 1-1. He's pitched 6 innings, given up 11 hits in this series, and an earned run average of 4.50. His 2nd relief appearance. 2-1. If you joined us late, Clemente hit a home run in the 4th, nobody on with 2 out, over the left center field wall. In the 8th for the Pirates, Sanguillen, Stargell singled, and Pagan doubled him home. And Stargell was going on the pitch. And back of 2nd, Belanger's throw in time, 1 down. Roberto Clemente coming up. If the Pirates would hold the lead in the last of the 9th inning, this would be his last chance at tying the World Series record. He's getting an ovation here in Baltimore. He's been, as he has in his entire career, a total ball player in this series. Running, throwing, fielding, and batting. He has 12 hits. The record is 13 by Bobby Richardson and Lou Brock. They each have 13 hits in a series. 7-game series. Ball 1 to Clemente, who grounded to short in the 1st, homered in the 4th, slide out to center field in the 7th. And if your Oriole fans are looking ahead, they'll have Powell, Frank Robinson, and Retman up in the last of the 9th inning. Ball 2 to Clemente. He's had 11 years between World Series, and he's made them count. At the age of 37, he has burning pride. He wanted to have a great series, and he had. 3 balls and no strikes to Clemente. There's a strike to him, 3-1. The way he's played here, You take a look at that body and see the way he still throws and runs. He should play for another 2 or 3 years at least, unless he gets some hard luck injuries. 3 balls and a strike. 3-2 now. One out, nobody on. 9th inning. The Pirates leading 2-1. And a foul. 3-2 to Clemente. Fouls are back. Cuellar pitched 8 innings, 2 runs and 4 hits. Cuellar struck out 6 and did not walk a batter. But Blas was just a little bit better. 3-2. Two down for Pittsburgh in the 9th. The batter is Bob Robertson, who's lined to third, grounded to third, and struck out 0 for 3. Well, you're going to be hearing a lot about this fellow in the future. He did 6 home runs in postseason play for the Pirates. A strike. And he hit 26 during the year. 25 years old. Fouls the breaking pitch back. Strike 2 to Bob Robertson. 2 down, nobody on. On deck, Manny Sanguillen. The Pittsburgh runs have been knocked in today by old-timers. 37-year-old Clemente, 36-year-old Pagan. Ball 1 strike 2. And both born and live in Puerto Rico. One ball, 2 strikes to Bob Robertson. There's Hines inside there, and 2-2. 2 outs, bases empty. Three and 2 to Robertson. Pittsburgh ahead 2-1 in the top of the 9th inning. Lashes it into left field. Buford over there for it. Robertson makes the turn and holds. Base hit number 5 for Pittsburgh. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Number 35, Manny Sanguillen.
And back here in Baltimore, this is Kurt Gowdy with Chuck Thompson and Tony Kubek as Manny Sanguillen is up now. He has singled in 3 times. Ball 1, and looks like he's going to leave the series as a leading base stealer in this series, a catcher. Remember that the NFL football will follow this World Series game. There's a strike. As soon as we're through here with the 7th game of the series, we'll be switching to either Cleveland at Cincinnati or San Diego at Denver, NFL football. Bob Robertson at first, 2 down. Pirates leading 2-1. 9th inning. Foul back. A ball and 2 strikes to Sanguillen. This will be a time call. One ball, 2 strikes is the count. 2-2. Dave McNally and Eddie Watt have been warming up in the Oriole bullpen. Tough chance for Brooks Robinson. The throw. Safe at first base. And once again, for a catcher, the outstanding speed of Sanguillen is something. He beat it out. Robertson's at second. Sanguillen's at first. Watch him leg this one out now. By Dobson, charged by Brooks Robinson, who makes a good play on this. But Sanguillen put on the bag just before the ball popped into Boog Powell's net, and Earl Weaver's to the mound. That is the 11th hit for Sanguillen in the series. He's just been a hitter all the way in the minor leagues and major leagues. In his background, Dobson is coming out, and we're going to have Willie Stargell up. We may have Dave McNally now, a left-hander, coming on to pitch for him. And while we have a break in the action here at Baltimore, the score in the 9th inning, Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore 1.
Hard to become the 1971 World Champions. It's not going to be an easy job. In the last half of the 9th inning, Boog Powell, Frank Robinson, Merv Rettenman, and then, of course, Brooks Robinson, if she should get to the plate. So far, Blass and the pitching in this ballgame has been just exceptional. Cuellar was breezing along. He got his screwball in the groove. He got in a little bit of trouble. The defense has been superb. And it would be fitting, if no more runs are scored in this ballgame, than the great Roberto Clemente, who hit the home run to give him the lead to start the ballgame. Back upstairs.
And look at that Earl Weaver pacing in that Baltimore dugout. Willie Stargell has struck out twice. Single and scored from first base. He was running on a pitch when Pagan doubled over the head of Merv Rettenman in the 8th inning. The ball was cut off in front of the plate by Boog Powell. Runners on first and second for Pittsburgh now, 2 down. Ground ball to Dave Johnson. And they're out of the inning. Stargell grounds out in the top of the 9th. No runs for Pittsburgh. 2 hits. There were no errors, and they left 2. And so we're coming to the last of the 9th inning with a score: Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 1. Steve Blass of Canaan, Connecticut now will pitch to Boog Powell, Frank Robinson, and Merv Rettenman. At the present time, nobody is warming up in the Pittsburgh bullpen. Blass had a shutout until the 8th inning when he gave up a run. Blass has struck out 5. He's walked 2. He's not walked a batter since the 2nd. He's allowed 4 hits, 3 singles and a double. Boog Powell struck out, grounded out, and struck out. They keep that shift on against him. Blass curves him for a strike. If the Pirates hang on, they'll be the 5th team in World Series history to lose the first 2 games of the series and come back to win the World Championship. One strike to Powell. 9 away, 1-1. The sun trying to come through for the first time today. runners. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Baltimore trailing 2-1. Powell leading off last of the 9th inning. And the curve misses 2-2. He uses that as his changeup, that slow curve. It's been an effective pitch for him. 2-2 to Powell. Big bounding ball to Dave Cash's second. 1 away. To our production staff and engineering staff, all during our Game of the Week season and during this World Series in New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago, we want to give them congratulations and a deep thank you for the excellent work they've done all year, our NBC crew. 1 out. Frank Robinson has gone hitless. He slides to right, struck out, and popped up. And he hits a pop-up in the shallow left center. Hernandez, the shortstop, is back. 2 down. 1 more out. And the Pirates are world champs, but that's always the hardest out to get. Now here is Merv Retman. He's grounded to short, grounded to third, grounded to short. A special thanks to Alan Roth, our statistician, our stage manager, Jim O'Gorman. Pirates 2, Baltimore 1. If Blas gets another out, you'll see a sight. He's very emotional, and he just might explode out there. There's a strike. Now keep your eyes on him. He pitched a 3-hitter at Pittsburgh to beat the Orioles. He's pitched a 4-hitter so far today, and he's leading 2-1. There's a drive up the middle. Hernandez in back of the bag. He's going. Jackie Hernandez. Look at Blas. Blas has pitched the Pirates to the World Championship. The Pirates, 2 games down, have come back and become the 15 in World Series history to win the championship after losing the first 2. And Jackie Hernandez, supposedly a weak member of the cast, an erratic shortstop, played brilliantly in this series. The surprise performer, Clemente, of course, Sanguillen. The Pirates' maligned pitching staff outpitched the 20-game winners of the Orioles. And that's the story to us in this series. And the Pirates outfielded the Orioles in the series. Here's the Pirate locker room. And Pittsburgh has won its 4th World Championship. 1909, 1925, 1960, and again today. And while we wait to go back into the clubhouse of Pittsburgh, the final score, the Pirates, 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. Baltimore, 1 run, 4 hits, and no error. All right, Pittsburgh the winner. Blas, of course, is the winning pitcher today, and Cuellar the loser. Clemente has been named the outstanding player of the series, as Sport Magazine will award him the Dodge Charger as the outstanding player. And now let's go down to the Pittsburgh clubhouse, the world champions.
Thank you very much, Kurt Gowdy. Well, here they are, a very hilarious group of people. The Commissioner of Baseball, one of the owners, Thomas P. Johnson, and, of course, Danny Galbraith, Steve Blas, the winning pitcher. This place is pandemonium as the Pittsburgh Baseball Club came on to do it. And, Commissioner, this has been a great World Series, and I know you have a presentation you'd like to make, sir, at this time.
Yes, sir, I do. Danny?
Danny Murtaugh stepping in here with Commissioner Buick-Kahn.
See if we can handle this. This is the emblematic of the World Championship in 1971, and I think your team has earned it as a championship squad that came from behind to win like champions and beat the Baltimore Orioles, who had been the reigning champions. And I congratulate you and your players and Steve Blas and your whole club.
Thank you, Commissioner. I don't believe there's been a better played series since I've been around anyway. I'm deeply grateful.
Danny Murtaugh, let me step in here for just a moment. 1960, you performed the impossible, and you did it again. Congratulations here in 1971.
Thank you, Bob.
Steve Blass, who pitched such a great game. Steve, coming in here with Chairman of the Board, Mr. John Galbraith. Steve, I know you just can't express yourself emotion-wise. You're all wrung out.
I don't know what to say. This is the biggest thrill that could ever happen. I don't believe it. From skinny kid from Falls Village, Connecticut.
Yeah, well, not so skinny out there. You showed them all there was to show them, Steve. And was there any one moment in that ball game that had you really worried?
There were several. One when they had the two men on, and then one hanging slider I threw to Davy Johnson that he popped up, but he missed the pitch. I can't believe how many people have this kind of an opportunity.
Well, you rose right to the occasion, and here with me right now, the greatest right fielder in the game of baseball, Roberto Clemente. Bobby, congratulations on a great World Series.
Thank you, Bob. And before I say anything in English, I would like to say something for my mother and father in Spanish. En el día más grande de mi vida, para los nenes, la bendición mía y que mis padres me echen mi bendición en Puerto Rico. Mr. and Mrs. Clemente, we love them too.
Yeah, we understood you. Now here's the chairman of the board, Mr. John Galbraith. I know how thrilled you are, Mr. Galbraith.
I can't say anything other than it's magnificent. Just magnificent. Danny will do the talking here.
Yes, and here's the president of the ball club, Danny Galbraith. Danny, well, as the president of the club, you now have come in like your father before you, 11 years before he won the championship as the president of the club. Now you're the president. I know that you can go home with this one and really feel happy.
Well, Bob, it's a great heritage to follow here with Dad. And the way these boys fought back, I think, shows the class of a real winner. And I'm so happy for all of them, as well as the folks back in Pittsburgh that have been supporting us all the way.
And there might be some rip snorting in Pittsburgh. And His Honor the Mayor, Pete Flaherty. Your Honor, I know how thrilled you are at this.
Well, we're very excited. The players deserve great credit. They got off the floor and they brought this championship to Pittsburgh, and they deserve all the credit in the world.
All right, may I present to His Honor the Excellency, the Governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the Honorable Milton Schaaf.
Boy, this is some day. I can't even talk. It's just yelling so hard.
Well, it was a real great one. There's no question about that. And now we have Bruce Keeson. And Bruce, you're going home now. You were a victor in one of the games here, and you're going home by do arrangements with the Baltimore Club with a chartered aircraft and a helicopter to get married tonight. Congratulations to you. That'll be a happy wedding night in a lot of ways.
All right, thank you, and thank you for everything you've done, too. You had a lot to do with it, I'm sure.
All right, that's Bruce Keeson. Now we'll send it back up to Kurt Gowdy.
All right, and the jubilation continues in the Pirate Clubhouse. Of course, quiet disappointment over there to Baltimore and their clubhouse, but a team that 3 years in a row has won 100 games. And I agree with Danny Murtaugh. This is one of the best World Series we've had in a long time. Again, Pittsburgh pitching. After Doc Ellis, their 19-game winner, was Derek. They didn't use him the rest of the series. And with 8, 10, 12, 15-game winners, they allowed in that last 5 games only 8 runs and just 21 hits in the last 5 games of the series. Blass and Keeson and Briles, all of those fellows pitching great ball. And, of course, Clemente, Sanguian in the hitting department. A tremendous series. And Baltimore nearly pulled it out again today when they came up with a run in the 8th inning. That was their big bid, but they couldn't tie it up. And Blass very strong in the 9th inning. So the Pirates, after losing the first 2 games, come back to win the World Championship. And our final score here today is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore 1. And now this is Kurt Gowdy, Chuck Thompson, Tony Kubek, and Bob Prince saying that the 7th game of the 1971 World Series has been brought to you by Chrysler Corporation. Extra care in engineering. Your host today, your local Dodge dealer. By the 2-bladed razor, the new Gillette Track 2 twin-blade cartridge shaving system. And by Phillips 66, the performance company. At Phillips 66, it's performance that counts. Now stay tuned for football, either Cleveland at Cincinnati or San Diego at Denver, right after station identification, right here on NBC.